Hey YouTube world and world in general, how you doing? In this video we're gonna be making a slideshow overlay because I was playing Dark Souls 3 and somebody asked me about how I made this slideshow overlay, and here I am. I'm gonna show you guys how, and here is the video, and let's go for it. So let's get started here. Let's see how can we make a slideshow effect where we could do a slideshow effect onto our stream. So let's get started here, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and minimize this. I'm gonna put myself on the right so you guys could watch what I'm doing here. The way that we do a slideshow effect on our stream, first thing first, we're gonna go into our scenes here. We're gonna say whatever that you guys want to name it as. We're gonna change it to slideshow tutorial, or we could just say alright, we're gonna call this scene slideshow, because see, that's what I'm gonna show you how I make a slideshow onto my stream every time I stream online. And sometimes people want to know how I made my stream change colors, because some people has their normal overlays, and I also figured out a way where you guys could have the overlays change colors automatically. Alright, so first thing first is, like, you guys gonna have to make overlays already, because I have already done them overlays in Photoshop here. But the way that I set up my overlays, slideshow overlays, is under sources. I go right click here. I'm gonna say add here. Then it says image slideshow right here. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. Okay, I'm gonna call it because the last game that I had a slideshow on, and you guys are watching this how to make a slideshow effect onto your stream, is from Dark Souls 3 game, and I've been working on that slideshow effect onto my stream. And the way that I do it is like this. So I'm gonna call it slideshow effect for how about I call this scene. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this right here, remove. I'm gonna call this Dark Soul, because that's the game that I was playing and had slideshow effect onto my stream, and people wanted to know how I made my slideshow effect onto my stream, and it looked really good as I was streaming for Dark Souls 3, because that is one of the best games out there right now if you are into that RPG, if you are into those type of games, adventure games and stuff. So point is, so you right click here, name what you want to name it, and then on the source side over here, I'm gonna say right click, add. I'm gonna say image slideshow here. I'm gonna call it you could name this whatever, you know, but I'm gonna call it slideshow. Alright, or should I say a camera slideshow, because that's what I had my slideshow showing onto my stream. So I'm gonna say okay, and Now it's gonna ask for how I want my slideshows to come up, my transitions. Do I want to fade? Do I want to cut? Do I want to swipe or slide? So I'm just gonna say fade. We could always go in and out and pick the transitions of how we want the fade. So we actually have 3 options here, that if we want the transitions to happen in a cutaways, fadeways, swipeways, or sideways. So I'm just gonna leave the first one on here, which is the cut one, and then we could always go back in and change it and change the way whichever one looks better for us. But for the first thing, we're gonna go under cut right over here, and it's gonna ask for how many milliseconds and this and that. That is always optional. You could just click on randomize playback. I'm just gonna click on randomize playback. Over here it's gonna see this plus, minus, and the settings and up and down. So these are the options that we have with our file. So in this image file over here, I'm gonna pick the files that I need for my slideshow, correct? So let me move this a little bit to the right over here. Okay, so this right here, this image side, so I'm gonna click on the plus sign over here, and I'm gonna say add file. Alright, so now I'm gonna look for my slideshow. So I have a Dark Souls 3 right here. I'm gonna open up. Alright, so I got 4 files that I worked with, that I went into Photoshop and made 4 different files as a slideshow. Okay, see, let me go ahead and, so I made 4 different files for a slideshow. See, I'm not gonna show you how I made this slideshow because that would be a whole different tutorial, or how to make overlays. So you guys could definitely watch my how to make overlay videos that I have online as well. And if you like watching those type of how to or these type of videos, how to videos, give it a thumbs up, or drop me some ideas so I could make more videos like these. But this, for sake of this video, so this is just to how I make a slideshow effect onto my stream here. Okay, so these files I have already worked on. I had 4 different files, which they all look the same. The only part that is different is this camera part right here that changes on every single file here. So what's gonna happen, I'm gonna drop in these 4 files into OBS, and OBS gonna slide between these 4 files, which are 4 different pictures, and it's gonna give it a really nice sliding effect within a transition, like a transition sliding effect every time I stream. So I'm not gonna show you how to make this over because I've already done so. So I'm just showing you how you guys, if you already had made those pictures that you want to show as a slideshow, then good, and go ahead and pick these 4 images. I'm gonna hold down my control key and pick all 4 of these. I mean, you could have 10 different files here and you could cycle through all 10, but right now I think 4 is good enough. Actually 3 is good enough, or 2, but I think 4 is a decent amount for a slideshow effect. So I'm just gonna pick 4 files, and I'm gonna say OK and or open. Alright, so now over here, so I'm gonna see right now, you guys see how this thing changes effects here. Okay, between cycles. So all these 4 files here that you guys see here, so these 4 files are gonna cycle out as a cut. If I say as a fade, it's gonna fade. It's gonna give the little fade effect here. So it's gonna give the fade effect. You see how the little fades out. And then if I say swipe, it's gonna do the little swiping effect. Okay, so that's what the cool. So then that's what the cool thing about this feature in transition with OBS Studio. Okay, so so I'm gonna say swipe, or I could say slide. So it would just slide from the right to the left, you know. But for now, I think the best way that it works good is with the fade. If I give it a fade, you guys will see how this thing changes to different picture as a sliding effect. Okay, you guys could always bring down the milliseconds, how fast that you guys want. Let's say I think 7800. I'm gonna give it 7000. Okay, so let's say if I give it a 7000, it's gonna do that effect after 7000 milliseconds. So like, you know, time between slides, so, or transition speed. Alright, so if I change the time between slides here, let's say like I say I want the slides to be even faster than what it is. So I want 5000 milliseconds. It's gonna do the transition of fade in 5000 milliseconds. That's why it says the time between slides in milliseconds, right? I would say a randomized playback. So it does not have to go in order, it could just randomly just do so. So I mean, like, I could just go ahead and play around with this number and suit my needs and then click OK, right? So I'm gonna say OK here. So now I could place this overlay wherever I want my overlay to be as, right? If I want it up or down, left or right. So I'm gonna leave this as probably over here. I want my overlay to be over here, correct? Alright, so let me get this thing down, make that bigger. Alright. So now, every time I stream, I'm gonna get the little slideshow effect, okay? So let's go ahead and add our game capture and see how that looks, alright, with our stream. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and set up my Elgato here. I'm gonna say right click, add video capture device here. I'm gonna say Elgato game capture HD because that's what I use all the time and that's the only one I got. And then I'm gonna say OK here. So now in a second, so here it is. So I got my PS4 turned on because that's what the Dark Soul that I was playing on, and I'm gonna go ahead and just go into Dark Soul 3 here. Alright, it is preparing for updates. So now, meanwhile, I'm just gonna start without updating. Alright, so now we got a Dark Soul here. So I'm gonna go ahead and right click on this, order, move to bottom. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and adjust this right here, or I could just say right click, order, or no, right click and transform or fit to screen. Okay, so now I know that fit to screen fits everything on the screen proportionally correct the way that it needs to. So I'm just gonna leave it as that. So now I'm gonna go into my slideshow effect right here. I'm gonna move this all the way to the right, because wherever I want, do I want it up here, do I want it over here or over here, you know. So but for now I'm just gonna leave it over here at the corner, because that's where everybody has their overlays. So this is how you guys or I made a slideshow effect onto my stream, and people were asking me how I did my slideshow effect onto my stream when I was playing Dark Souls 3. Okay, so that's the reason that I wanted to make this video. Alright, so obviously these three lines that you guys see over here, those are, of course, I'm gonna say a right click and I'm gonna say text. You know, those three lines that I have it over here, I have them for donations. You know, I'm gonna say okay. I'm just gonna leave it as, maybe I'll leave a D for donations, you know. And I'll move these, I'll adjust this and leave that for D over here. And remind people for, put another text over here, call it followers. You know, that's the reason I have 3, because you only need 3 unless you're doing a whole lot of other stuff. Because mostly people only put in 3 reminders on their stream, donation, followers, and subscribers, right? So I'm gonna leave S for subscribe, correct? Rest is your own preference. Alright, so like your needs, how you want your whatever you guys want. So after you guys do your overlays, you know, so now if I make this bigger, if I go ahead and make my slideshow over here. So let me go ahead and zoom in and show you how that slideshow looks, okay? And then I'll make it smaller later on, so you guys could tell how the slideshow is changing colors and doing the little slideshow effect onto the screen. So that's how you do it. So again, how I did this, I made 4 different files from Photoshop, and all I did was change this picture right here 4 times, and I left everything else the way it is. And yeah, now I go my way out and play some Dark Souls here. So press any button, ready to install. Alright. Okay. And just start streaming. Alright, and it looks good while you stream. Alright guys, and I'll see you on my next video, and happy gaming, and thanks for watching, and I'm out of here.